I quit my truck driving job because dispatch knew I had to be home by a certain time, and you know what they did? They sent me on a route further away on purpose. I missed my appointment. I'm sick and tired of being disrespected. There's BS everywhere. They tell you one thing like, oh, we love drivers, and then they do things like this, disrespecting my time, disrespecting your time. You know how it is. But anyways, I quit trucking, and today I made $200 trading options in the stock market. I traded SPY. In this video, I break down all 3 trades that I took. The first 2 trades that I took were losers. The third trade, it wiped those losses clean. And I break down all the details. I give it all to you step by step. You might learn something. If this is your first time ever watching any of my videos, know that I've been a CDL truck driver Class A for well over a decade. I've been trading options well over 3 years, and so I have experience. You may not be able to do the things that I do when it comes to trading. Trading is very, very risky, especially options. You can lose your money viciously. Be careful. But in these videos, I try to teach you as much as I know. As you can see, I'm moving around on my actual account. This is real. The market's still live. If you want to hire my expertise, I offer a 6 to 8 week ride along. Check the description to book a call. All right, let's break this down. I took 3 trades today, 2 losers and 1 massive winner that more than made up for everything. Account sitting at $3,017, and I'm officially out of drawdown. If you watched my last video, you know I was stuck in the red because of Tesla and a bunch of other trades that didn't really go my way. But today changed everything. Before we dive into the trades, let me show you my screen setup. I've got 4 quadrants of the same ticker, SPY, which is the S&P 500, the top 500 companies in America. The top right is the daily chart for the big picture analysis. The top left is the hourly chart. The bottom left is the 5-minute chart. The bottom right is the 1-minute chart where I actually execute my scalps. When I'm truck driving, I swing trade. But when I'm at home, like today, because I quit trucking, I scalp. I do quick in and out moves all within the same day. This 4-quadrant setup gives me the eagle eye view across multiple time frames. When everything's aligned, that's when I catch those beautiful momentum moves. Okay, now onto the daily chart. My analysis always starts with the daily chart on SPY. See this green dashed line? That's the May 19th high, a critical level I've been watching. Notice how price treats it like a ceiling when below and a floor when above. This is price psychology at work. The orange dashed line is the June 11th high. Okay, so these dashed lines establish our price range, the May 19th floor and the June 11th ceiling. Today, price gapped up right up to that June 11th high, that orange dashed line. And that's what gave me the bullish thesis for the day. Let's go to the hourly chart. This is the setup that started it all. Looking at the hourly chart, we can see how price bounced from yesterday's 1 p.m. session, climbed above that May 19th level, and rolled up overnight to punch up through that June 11th high before pulling back to bounce off the 20 EMA. This overnight action tells me that institutions were accumulating. Okay, let's go over the first trade. My first entry was 9:46 a.m. I saw absolute strength developing. That's my bread and butter setup. Absolute strength means 5 to 7 candles staircasing in one direction. Prices above the 3 EMA. The 3 EMAs above the 9, and so on. Perfect alignment. I counted 12 consecutive 1-minute candles climbing up. Price, the 3 EMA, the 9 EMA, the 20 EMA, the 50 SMA, everything stacked beautifully. When I saw that bounce off the 9 EMA at 9:44, then that big green reclaim at 9:45, I knew it was time to strike. But here's the thing. Jerome Powell was scheduled to speak at Congress at 10 a.m. I wasn't trying to hold through that volatility. When price started chopping instead of just continuing like I expected it, I cut the trade at 9:48, small $80 loss. In absolute strength, when price stops doing what it should do, I get out, no questions asked. Let's go over my second trade. At 10 a.m., I'm watching price approach the morning lows. My big picture view is still screaming bullish. We gapped up significantly. We're at the June 11th highs. Everything's pointing up. I'm thinking, could this be a buy the dip scenario? I entered my trade at 10 a.m., betting those morning lows would hold. 8 minutes later at 10:08, boom, big red candle stops me out. My thesis was right. My timing wasn't the best, but this shows the market is a tricky place. Let me interrupt real quick to remind you that trading is very risky. Do not quit your trucking job if you are not financially stable. I'm an experienced options trader. I understand totally the risk that I'm taking on. In trucking, an experienced driver reaches that status after a year or two, not after watching a YouTube video. Set your brakes, set your expectations. If you need help accelerating your learning, though, you can book me for a 6 to 8 week ride along. Link in the description. Another loss. That's when I stepped away from the computer, went outside, paced around the backyard, played with my son for a few minutes. You have to know when to step back before you go on tilt, because once your emotions hijack your mind, that's when you lose the most money trying to trade. So because I understood this, I stepped away from the screen. Once I recovered, I got back to it. Okay, let's go over market internals. This is a game changer. When I came back inside, right, something caught my eye that changed everything. I always watch the market internals. That's the advanced decline, the VOLD, and most importantly, the tick. The tick measures upticks versus downticks across the New York Stock Exchange. It oscillates between positive 1,000 and negative 1,000, with 0 being the dividing line. What I saw was the tick holding steadily above 0 for an extended period. This rarely happens, and what it does, it's just like a volcano about to explode. Price is either gonna explode upwards or explode downwards. Then I checked the sectors. XLK was leading, XLF was following. Both were above 1%. Meanwhile, SPY was only 0.8%. That's when I knew this wasn't a scalp anymore. This was a trade to hold. My third trade. This is the home run trade. 14 minutes after I got stopped out after my second trade, I was back in at 10:22 a.m. The same bullish thesis, now with confirmation from the internals. I bought calls and held on. Look at this 1 minute chart from 10:22 onward. This is absolute strength in its purest form. From bottom left to top right, no hesitation. Price broke above the June 11th level, consolidated briefly, then just kept climbing. I held this trade until 11:42 a.m., over an hour. I exited when SPY hit 605.97. The market kept ripping after I left, but that's okay. The objective isn't to catch every penny. It's to take what you can with proper risk management. Let's go over the numbers real quick. Trade number 1 was an $80 loss. The second trade was a $105 loss. Those two combined was a negative $185 loss. The third trade was the big winner, and it was well over $400, which when you subtract the $185 loss and from the 400, you get a 200 positive day. And I'm not including commissions in these numbers. I had 2 losers and 1 winner. This is what risk control looks like. You control your downside so you can stay in the game for the big moves, for the big wins. What made this day special? Days like this don't happen often. When you see price grinding higher non-stop like this, it's not retail traders buying. Retail is a teacup of water. Institutions are a fire hydrant. This was algorithmic accumulation in real time. This is institutional footprint. They're buying all day, non-stop. From the 10:08 lows where I got stopped out, you could have bought at any point after and made money just by recognizing this was a day to hold. The key was reading those market internals and understanding that when the tick holds above 0 for extended periods, something big is brewing. So the tick with the gap up near the June 11th highs, all of those made for a clean directional move. If we take a quick glance at yesterday's tick action, bouncing above and below 0, you see the difference? But today, steady above 0 for hours. This is a signal that the market has serious upward momentum because it's staying above the 0 line, which is the dashed blue line. If the tick was steady below the dashed blue line, it would signal to me that the market is ready for a bearish sell-off. This is why I study multiple time frames, watch the market internals, and I respect my risk management rules. The future to me is unknowable. That's why I took those 2 losses today. And the third trade, I still did not know how far and how fast the market was going to move. All that was in my control was my risk controls, and I'm proud of how I handled them today, which was excellent, and it turned out to be a profitable day, despite the fact that I took 2 losses. That's the breakdown. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win big. The key is to make sure your winners more than cover your losers and you live to trade another day. If you're a CDL truck driver and you want to accelerate your education about trading, you can book me for a 6 to 8 week ride along, where it's kind of like when you had a trainer with you on a truck for a few weeks to teach you the ways of the road. Well, it's like that, except I do it for trading. It's 6 to 8 weeks. You choose the length and we go over thesis, structure, and strategy. These two things combined are the foundation of successful trading. What I'm basically saying is left foot plus right foot equals walking. Win rate multiplied by risk reward equals expected value. All of that, we go over all those details in this 6 to 8 week ride along where I ride shotgun in your trading journey. If that is interesting to you, go into the link in the description and book a call with me. We'll have a conversation and we'll take it from there. You can also join the Truckers Who Trade community.